Okay, so you're here because you want to know what the future of e-commerce looks like, right?
Well, that's right. We're going to be diving into exactly that today.
We'll be taking a look at a recent episode of SmartPodcast.
Episode number 29.
Called The Future of E-commerce Trends and Predictions.
And we're basically going to give you the cheat sheet to all the major changes that are coming.
Yeah, this is like your shortcut to understanding what's happening in online retail.
It's really interesting, actually, how much that SmartPodcast episode covers.
Yeah, they do a really good job in that episode of laying out like this roadmap of where things are going.
Totally.
And one of the most significant things they say right out of the gate is that e-commerce is going to completely dominate retail by 2030.
That's a big prediction.
It's a huge statement.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it kind of makes sense when you think about how comfortable people are becoming with shopping online.
Yeah, I think it's definitely becoming less and less of a, out there idea. As we see, these big platforms like Amazon, eBay, Walmart, even Mercari, these social first marketplaces, they're constantly growing and changing and innovating.
Yeah, and it's not even just those big names, Right. You've got Instagram and TikTok Shop and Facebook Marketplace. They're all major players now.
Totally.
Seems like everywhere we go online now, we're shopping.
Yeah, it's really interesting, actually, the way that our online lives are evolving. It's almost like there aren't really boundaries anymore between, hanging out with friends online and buying stuff. The social platforms, they already have, millions and millions of users.
Yeah.
And everyone's chatting and sharing. And so it just makes sense to kind of weave shopping into that.
Yeah, it's a really natural fit.
Yeah.
So basically what we're seeing is more and more people are shopping online. And that's only going to continue.
For sure.
All right, so we've talked about the growth. Now, let's get into the trends that are actually going to shape this future of e-commerce.
Yeah, and SmartPodcast highlighted a few really interesting ones. Yeah. The first one that really jumped out at me was AI and automation.
Yeah, they called it a revolution.
They did, and I think they're right.
Yeah, and it's not just, basic chatbots answering basic questions.
Right.
It's AI getting so much better at predicting what people want and giving them personalized recommendations.
Yeah, it's almost like AI is reading our minds now.
Right.
Yeah.
It can sometimes figure out what you need before you even know you need it.
Yeah, and I've seen some studies saying that kind of hyper-personalization can really increase sales.
Oh, for sure.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
And they talked about AI being used to write product descriptions too.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
I know it sounds like something out of a movie.
I know, right?
But it's actually happening.
It is, and it's becoming a really useful tool for businesses that have thousands or even tens of thousands of products to sell.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine trying to write unique descriptions for that many products.
I can't even imagine. It would be impossible, so AI can kind of step in and create these basic descriptions that are clear and informative.
Yeah.
And that frees up, the human team to focus on the really important products.
Right, the ones that need that extra special touch.
Exactly.
That's a really smart way to make things more efficient.
Totally.
Another trend that really caught my attention was the focus on speed.
Yeah.
SmartPodcast said that fast delivery is becoming the norm.
Yeah, and it really feels like that.
It does. Every time I order something online, I expect it to get here faster and faster.
And that's not happening by accident.
Right.
Amazon and Walmart are putting huge amounts of money into things like same-day delivery and even drone delivery.
Yeah.
So it's not just about convenience anymore. It's about removing any obstacles in the buying process.
Yeah, the faster I get my stuff, the happier I am and the more likely I am to buy from that company again.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's all about making that whole shopping experience as seamless as possible. I definitely notice when shipping times are longer than I expect, it almost makes me not want to buy something.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, let's move on to something that's becoming more and more important to a lot of people. Sustainability.
Yeah, SmartPodcast called it a big trend.
They did, and I think it's only going to get bigger.
Totally.
It's not just a niche thing anymore.
Right.
It's something that a lot of people really care about.
Yeah, people are way more aware now of how their purchases impact the environment.
Yeah.
From the materials used to make the products to the packaging they come in.
Yeah. And there's data showing that people are actually willing to pay more for products that are sustainable and ethically sourced.
It's true. We're talking a significant price increase.
Yeah.
People are still choosing those options.
Yeah. It really shows that people are changing their priorities.
Yeah.
And for businesses, it's a huge opportunity to build loyalty with customers who share those values.
Huge.
Okay, let's talk about the social side of things.
Yeah.
SmartPodcast talked about how social media is driving sales like never before, especially through live shopping and influencer marketing.
Yeah, it's really interesting how they're kind of blurring the lines between entertainment and shopping now.
Right.
Like live shopping, which is becoming super popular on platforms like TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. It's almost like a modern version of those old home shopping channels.
Right.
But way more interactive.
Yeah, you can actually chat with the hosts and ask questions and get feedback in real time.
Totally.
It creates this sense of like excitement and community.
Yeah.
And it can be really effective at convincing people to buy stuff.
For sure.
I've watched a few of those live streams and they can be surprisingly engaging.
Yeah.
They also talk about the power of influencer marketing, specifically micro-influencers.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Yeah, why are micro-influencers so important?
So it's all about trust, really.
Okay.
Micro-influencers tend to have these smaller but really dedicated followings, and they focus on very specific niches. So their followers see them as being more authentic and relatable than huge celebrities.
Right.
So when they recommend a product, their followers actually listen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's about building genuine connections rather than just reaching as many people as possible.
Right. Quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about the growth of e-commerce, the impact of AI and automation, the importance of speed and sustainability, and the power of social commerce.
Yeah.
Now, the big question is, what can businesses do to actually prepare for all of this change?
Yeah, good question.
SmartPodcast had some really practical advice.
Yeah, they did.
They said that investing in automation tools is key.
Yeah.
This could be things like inventory management software, AI-powered chatbots, automated marketing platforms, basically anything that can make the business run more smoothly and free up time for people to focus on more strategic work.
That's right.
They also stress the importance of really putting effort into product listings.
It's not enough to just throw your product up on a website and hope for the best.
Exactly. You really have to make sure that your products are easy to find.
Right.
So this means using the right keywords in your product titles and descriptions, having high quality images that show the product from different angles, and providing all the information that customers might need before they buy.
Yeah. It's like you're creating this amazing digital storefront that's designed to attract the right customers and give them everything they need to make a decision.
I like that analogy.
Thanks.
And having a strong social media presence isn't just about posting pretty pictures anymore.
Right. It's about engaging with your audience.
Yeah.
Building a community, using all those interactive features that social media platforms have, like live shopping and contests and direct messaging.
Yeah, it's a whole other level of social media now.
Totally.
And finally, they really emphasize the importance of the overall customer experience.
Yeah.
It's like the basics of good business still apply even online.
Absolutely. I mean, in fact, it's even more important online because there's so much competition.
Right.
So you need to offer fast shipping, excellent customer service, and easy returns.
Yeah. Happy customers are more likely to come back for more.
Sure.
So the main takeaway here is that the world of e-commerce is constantly changing.
Yeah, it never stops.
It's not enough to just have an online store. You have to stay on top of the latest trends and technologies.
That's right.
Whether it's AI or sustainability or social media.
Totally.
And you have to make sure that you're giving your customers the best possible experience.
Yeah, otherwise they'll go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So stay informed, stay adaptable, and stay ahead of the game.
Great advice.
And one final question for you, though, to kind of leave you thinking.
Okay.
We've talked about a lot of the trends that are probably going to shape e-commerce by 2030.
Right.
Like AI and the merging of online and offline experiences and those constantly evolving customer expectations. But what about beyond 2030? What are those unforeseen technologies or those shifts in consumer behavior that might pop up in the years after that?
That's a good question.
Yeah. What are those innovations that could totally change how we buy and sell things online in the future?
That's something to really think about.
I think it is.
It's exciting to think about what the future holds.
It really is.
Who knows what amazing things we'll be able to do online in 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Totally.
Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the future of e-commerce.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.